Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Brytex here with another video, and today we're going to be going over the most optimal Fortnite keybinds, which I switched to today. And other than that, let's get right into it.
Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in the choke, gun smoke.
Okay, so the reason I switched to the most optimal keybinds is because I wanted more optimal keybinds in general, because the thing is I had barely any optimal keybinds and I just wanted to, start fresh and maybe get even way better, because I saw a lot of people switch to optimal keybinds and they are way better. So I saw a suggestion for people to switch to ESDF, which I didn't do that. I went for the most optimal keybinds using WASD. So to start off, let's just go right over it. I put auto run as T. I used to have this as the middle scroll wheel mouse button click. So the scroll wheel click, I used to have it as that. Now I have ping as the scroll wheel click, which is pretty optimal. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you have as the middle click. You could use it as floor or whatever. But mainly, when we start off over here, this doesn't really matter. This is all personal preference pretty much. Unless you're using something other than WSD. Fire and then target, reload, that's all the same. You should all be using left click, right click, and then R. You should be always mouse wheel up, and this works great. Just make sure you have tap to search on inside of here. And harvesting tool, I use as tab because I can. I like to use my map as 1 instead of M. M is a little bit hard to reach, and it just doesn't make sense to me, in my opinion, that you should have it accessible to pretty much anywhere. So you want to have it accessible like that. Okay, so Q is my weapon slot 1. I used to have this as E, but then I recently changed it to Q because I changed my edit bind to E. And weapon slot 2, put it as 2 because it's easy to reach, right above W. 3, I still have to get used to this one. I put it as 3. I used to have it as C, which is not exactly the most optimal. That's fine, but you don't really need to have your slots optimal at all. 4, you put it as 4, and then X, I put it as X. 3 is a little bit weird for me right now. I can't reach it that much, but I'll get used to it. So weapon slots is pretty much personal preference. I honestly don't think you should go up to 5 unless you have super long fingers and you're comfortable with it. So crouch while building is normal. Your wall and your stair, you should always have these on your mouse buttons. If your mouse does not have buttons, then you should always be using these on Z, X, or C. Buka is like a perfect example of this. He doesn't use his mouse buttons for these, but he can still use them on his keyboard. So like right now, I use my mouse buttons, the side buttons. I use mouse wheel 2, thumb mouse 2, and then thumb mouse 3, or I believe that's 3. Either way, floor I put as C. I used to have it as F. That is not optimal because it affects your movement, because you have to take your finger off your D key in order for it to go through, because you use that finger. So I switch it to C, which I use my thumb for, right next to my spacebar. In my opinion, I like C better. I was really comfortable with F though, but you want full movement. That is what makes it optimal. Trap, I always had it V, so I just left it at that. You could always use edit as V. Edit is super good as at V as well, but I say the best 2 edit binds are E and F. But I put trap as V. You can put this as T or whatever you want. Repair and upgrade, this doesn't really matter. I used to have it as H, now I have it as G. Place building, that's normal, left mouse button. Rotate building, this doesn't even matter unless you rotate your builds. Change building with serial, I keep this as right mouse button. Building edit, this is one of the biggest ones. You want to have mouse wheel down on both of these in order to get scroll wheel reset, and then mouse wheel down here, and then the line you want to edit with. So I used to edit with Q. It's pretty much the same as E, but I see a lot more people use E, and I think E might be better. So I'm switching to E. I don't know what the big difference, if you can make a big difference, but I switched to E. You could also use F. You could use V, which also gives you super good movement. But honestly, I think a lot of pros use E, so I'm just gonna go with E for now. And V is also a thumb one, so you can have full movement as well. And also you can use edit as E, I believe, and pick up weapons with E, but I like to pick up weapons with the scroll wheel up. And the rest is pretty much just personal preference. I put ping and place marker. You don't want this anywhere around your WSD, right? Because most of the time you're going to be pinging things that are not, it's going to affect your movement. You're gonna have to stop or like stand still or not move in a certain direction in order to ping something, which doesn't make much sense. I used to have it as G, now I have it as my middle mouse button, which I'm really comfortable with it. The only thing is I switched my middle mouse button instead of auto run, so I'm not used to that yet. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the actual binds. But I'm gonna go into creative and show you guys how good I am with them so far. Hopefully, you know, I'm still really super rusty with them. But I used to have my binds as F for floor, Q for edit, E for my first weapon slot, and it was so much different that I'm surprised I can even still do things on this as normal. I am a little bit used to it. Yeah, as you can see, I just now try to use F as floor. So let me try that again. Yeah, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. My movement isn't as good yet, but I'm hoping soon it will get better. It probably will. I think I'm better than what I was at before, the skill level. And that's pretty much it for the video. This is what I look like when I free build. I still can't do some of the stuff I could do before, but I didn't expect to be able to do half the stuff. But surprisingly, I can do a lot, if not more. It's just sometimes, you know, you get nervous and then you accidentally hit the wrong bind, so there's not much difference. And also, yes, I can do 90s with this. Let me just try this out like this. Honestly, it's a little bit more because you have to use your thumb for the spacebar and C. That's the only thing that I would say is it's a little bit odd feeling, but honestly, I feel more comfortable with it for some reason.